This conference will now be recorded.
Hotepu, everyone. Welcome back to part 2 of our tour of our new Sirius calendar. And again, I had this image showing me enjoying some wonders of nature, some flowers, because again, the word for flower in ancient Kemet is the same word for star. So we should inhale the flowers, inhale the sky. We should celebrate and be bewitched by the beauty of the starry flowers above. So we are looking at part 2 tour of our Kemetic singing calendar of Sirius, called the Petit Spedit, year 12933 ZT Zeptepi. And in the previous video, I broke down the sky astronomy over Giza as to why we say we're now in the year 12933. And I want to go into a bit of what you'll see in the calendar and what it offers from a different perspective. So here is a little bit of a tour of the art you may see in the calendar. You will see there for sure. This is the month of Amun. And he's often shown with a sun disk at his head. So I had my team make this kind of beautiful sun disk starry implication here. This is the month of Sobek, the crocodile man. This month deals a lot with fertility and virility and energy. You'll see this beautiful image of Our Lady Serkit, the scorpion woman, who deals a lot with breaking through your barriers, breaking through your shadows and fears, transforming pain into power. She's also very heavy into telepathy, developing telepathic abilities. And here we have the beautiful and dreaded Lady Sekhmet, the goddess of female fire. This is the form of the sun that is the radioactive rays, the very dangerous part of the sun. And she deals with purifying you of any bad behaviors, purifying your life force. So these are a few images you'll see in the calendar. And in Appendix 2, there are about 15 appendices in this calendar. I wanted to bring to everyone's attention that we have our own ways of counting leap years based upon what's called the Amun-Reese calendar formula, which I put here, the Amun calendar here. And we use a calculation from a Brother Reese, who decades ago developed this mathematics for the Reese calendar formula for creating leap years. As a result of us embracing this calendar, that we have found it to be extremely very regular. And what I want to mention here is here's some of the equations we use to calculate our leap year functions and how we've improved through using this math, even the Kemetic formula. And this part here explains, if you want to pause and read this little paragraph here, how significant this leap year calendar is, this leap year calculation is. It's the most stable set of calculations for leap years known to humanity. You cannot produce more stable leap year calendars than the formulae outlined in our work here. Okay, so anyone in the world could use these calculations, but they come from the Blacks of North America, Brother Reese here in the States, and we at the Golden Beetle, the Temple of Nut Heteru, also embrace. Okay, so you'll see that in here. And also, again, we saw in the last two videos on the calendar, the Halal rising stars. And I want to bring this to a different context in our next image, Appendix 6. This table is very powerful. It has taken me years to develop this table, but what it shows is it says the table of this year's 1093 ZT, this year's death and resurrection dates of Sahu Orion's fixed stars. The image before this one here shows you how stars can die and resurrect through this 5-phase heliacal rising sequence. Now, The Kamau were very focused on Orion, we call Sahu. And the Sahu Orion constellation was pivotal to the kingship. It was the core of the kingship. And they noticed when the stars of Orion, Sahu, were visible, disappeared, and then reappeared at heliacal rising right before dawn on a different day. These stars from Kemet would go through times where you see them at night, then they're gone all night long, and they only reappear one dawn morning after being invisible. While they were invisible, we say they were in the Duat, they were in the underworld, they were with the ancestors, they were with the gods, getting new marching orders, getting new directives. And when it heliacally rose, like Sirius does, July 17th or 18th every year, it was renewed from the dead, reborn from the dead, with a new mission, a fresh new renpet, meaning youthful mission of new growth. Renpet means year. So we clocked the 7 major stars of Orion. We have more stars than 7. We've done a lot of the Orion Nebulae and the Messiah in the head, and other stars that aren't the famous 7 of Orion. And we have the Western name here. We have the Kemetic name here. What they call Betelgeuse is called Apsech. What that star does, we have an oracle that lives in that star, and the meaning of the oracle here, the meaning of Apsech. This row meaning is the meaning of the word in Kamau. Okay, somewhat, yes, it's close enough translations. We have here the Dravidian, the blacks of South India, the Dravidian nakshatras of this star, and the dates when they VAS, Vas, Mas, Meher, and Veher. Vas means visual achronical setting. Mas means mathematical achronical setting. Meher means, MHR means mathematical heliacal rising. Veher, VHR means visual heliacal rising. This is a very kind of involved understanding of how stars phase in relationship to the Aten, to the sun. Okay, so we do very important things on these dates, very powerful things to Osar, the god of Orion, the god of Sahu. So this table is in here, and there are more entries here, but that's all that we can see on the page. Appendix 7. You'll see Appendix 7 in the calendar. This is a very important page. This page outlines the northern stars near the pole. This is called Mesketu, or the Big Dipper, known by the West, part of the Great Bear in the northern constellations. But this Big Dipper, which you see here, the little ladle part, and his body would be the bowl stars. I give you the word of power for it. Kam lasukan nefere he he. Kam lasukan neferere he he. Okay? This constellation is very key to, I talk about it in this text. It's the constellation for us to focus on to get power of material domination, material, terrestrial, real estate property, resources, material resources, ability for the Perao, the pharaohs, to get material power. They were very rich people. They owned land. They owned great structures. They owned resources in their country and other countries. They had, through trade and through conquest, gotten resources. The way they got that through their theology and their magical religious powers was through the stars of Mesketu, the Big Dipper. The Big Dipper belongs to a god called Set, and many pharaohs would stare at this star, pray to the northern stars for powers, but not just general powers. I have another video about the northern constellations of Mesketu. I think it's called Find Where You're Broken. But once you find where you're broken, you need material resources to fix it. You need land, money, means of production, means of distribution, uh, properties. Okay, a lot of the Black peoples are fighting for material power, means of production, distribution, and ownership. Well, by praying to these stars, the way we teach, by invoking the spirits of these stars, any of you who get the calendar, if you do go to the north, get your star finder on your phone, your star app finder, and hold it up until you find the Big Dipper. Look at that area direction from your phone into the sky, and chant Kam Nasukane Firire, visualizing yourself, visualizing our people having land again, owning the land, owning the resources of the land, owning the extraction, the production, the distribution, the pricing, the wholesale, the resale power of those physical material things, having a lot of money, having our own currency, having our capacity to manufacture our own currency if that's the way we want to go, owning homes around the world, owning property, buying up property. This is what this page will lead us to, the way it led the Perau, the pharaohs. So this is a very important page that we teach how to activate fully. This deals a lot with the ancestors and a lot with the opening of the mouth ceremony of the sahu, the mummies. The word for mummy is sahu. Okay. The next thing is this appendix 2. This is an image that came to me many years ago in a deep meditation of a model of your spirit bodies, your subtle bodies, of which there are more bodies, but I gave the core ones here. The Khat, this symbol here means earth. It's a plot of land with 3 particles of rocks, soil. Khat means your physical body. These little legs are your astral body. This blue downward facing triangle is your Ka, your inner child, your soul, your dreaming body. This red upward facing triangle is your Ab, your moral mental capacities. And then we have the Ba, the sun disk, your divine spark. We have the astral cord called the Wat between your Ka, Sahu, and Ba. They talk through this cord. And this egg surrounding it is your Ren, your name, your divine oracular name, not the name given to you just at birth randomly, but from an oracle. The calendar actually feeds your physical body, your Sahu, Shuhut, Kaibet, your aura, your inner child. Here's the word for Ka. These arms go with this blue triangle. This is the word for Ka. You see Ka here. It feeds your Ab, your heroic moral nature. It feeds your Ba, your divine spark. The calendar is designed to strengthen your spirit bodies, to strengthen your subtle bodies, what some call your sheaths or your psychological layers. Okay? And we teach how the calendar feeds each of these things. You see? So the words of power, the day of the month. So for example, we're gonna have that. Did I move that here? Okay. So, but it's in the calendar. I don't want to go through it right now. I want to keep this video quite short. And we talk about the planetary music here to help this link here to bring in these energies into these sheaths or spirit bodies. Okay. I also included in the appendix 13 something I noticed. There are 2 planets, Bes and Set. Bes is Uranus. Set is Pluto. I also call Pluto Bennu sometimes. When it's constructive, I call it Bennu. When it's destructive, I call Pluto Set, the god of chaos, disorder, and death. This little brief here says that Black people's historical events for Black peoples are triggered by the best Uranus relationships. When these two planets form some kind of what's called an angular aspect, it seems to trigger historical events for Black people. And I put this here because I want historians and other people, both historians and mystics, to look at this. I put the dates when these events happened, starting from about 1424 BC, 1424 AD, yes, for about I think about 100 years, 1,000 years. Let me see how far it goes up to maybe about 1,000 years, I believe. So, for example, Uranus in the ninth house squared Pluto in the 12th house was an exact square, transit to transit, on April 12th, 1424 at 0014 hours AM time. Okay, it gives the degrees. This first 12 degrees Pisces, 53 minutes, is the first planet Uranus. It was direct, meaning moving forward visually. And Pluto was at 12 degrees Gemini, 53 minutes, also direct. The next entry says Uranus and Pluto. Uranus is in the ninth house, Pluto in the 12th of that date. Okay, transit to transit on July 14th, 1424 at 2:49 p.m. And that Uranus was in 14 degrees Pisces, 59 minutes. And Uranus is retrograding. The first entry here is the first planet, and the second degree entry is the second planet, Pluto. And so Uranus was retrograde while Pluto was direct at 14 Gemini. And that's how you read this. This is more for research purposes and for future forewarning purposes. That's in the calendar. I also have products that help you to activate the calendar ritually, mystically. So I have here the link to my ebooks. You can get your Halakha Rising charts I mentioned before. We also have here our own Florida water, which is developed by one of our high priestesses of Ast named Ujad Nut. And she has produced, through a dream she received from a goddess, a organic sanitizer, bug spray. It does all kinds of things, but we use it as our Florida water. It's very, very pure. Okay. It's free of alcohol, GMOs. It's made of essential oils. Okay. And in order for her to make these statements that it can be an air purifier, surface sanitizer, she had to go through a long process of certification for that, legal certification to make those statements on the product. We use it for a lot of things. We use it for Florida water to purify. Florida water is often used in Santeria or many spiritual houses for purifying the space from evil spirits, bad energy, bad ashe, bad chi. You just spray it. The whole room lightens up. But we use it also to clean our altars. You can use it for all kinds of purposes. She has an extensive expression of uses on her site. And we have a brother who is very skilled at making roots, powders, oils, and mixes. This brother has talent and his stuff works. He is the head of the Shizemu Nakti temple. Shizemu is the god of crushing oils and pounding herbs. And many botanicas and other groups use herbal mixes that are diluted with all kinds of perfumes and chemicals, and some put sawdust in their powders, all kinds of things. And I make that statement here. We have what's called our Ma'at quality stamp of approval. Ma'at quality stamp of approval. It means it is temple pure. It has been certified by the temple and the high priest king, myself. And we have a team who check the purity, the authenticity, and the sacred procedure used in developing and producing these mixes. In fact, I do mention here that whenever we have a mix made, not only is it made with essential oils, authentic plant botanicals, um, but also the person making it has to go into a trance state, a ritual state, and become mounted by the deity of the mix. So now it's not just the person's hands pounding it, but they are spiritually mounted by the god or goddess, which is the spirit of the herbs or the mixes. And now the god or goddess is also infusing the mixture. This is traditional way of doing herbal mixes. And we have here our products that you can easily get. These products listed here are more for the calendar. We have many more products you can order by going to the link here. We have Nefer Lux Breath, and you use it on days marked with these symbols. We have Cha-Cha Hex Break. When you see these 1, 2, or 3 of these symbols, like these are the bad luck days, you want to use those to help break the hexes. We have the Osar Hatep Calm formula to keep you very calm. Money Oil, Millionaire's Oil. Anunket's Love Embrace. The Ancestor Natron Powder, which was used in the mummies to preserve the mummies. The Shepsu Ancestral Powder to burn as incense. And we have 13 formulas for the date of the month. So we're turning this into a living calendar with rituals, with ceremony, in order for you all to bring this to life. This will take time for it to bloom. That's why I also have this image of flowers, because what I'm striving to do is to bring out the starry flowers, the fragrant floweriness of your karma. If your chart is linked to stars, that means your chart is a flower. In the Jyotish system, the star wheel is called a chakra. Chakra means lotus, lotus wheel, lotus flowers, links to lotuses. So I'm through this calendar, our products, our training, our music, our rituals, we're trying to turn your chart from a thing on a screen to a living act of sweetening your karmas, blooming the goodness in your life, flowering in glory, turning bad karma into fragrance, into sweetness. The Kamau say, may I be the lotus at the nostrils of Ra. That means, may my chakras cause my planets in my Ra chart to be fragrant onto the life force. And with that, I wish to thank you. Do go to the links to purchase your calendars. We look forward to hearing from you. We want to get feedback from you on the calendars to make it a living relationship between the temple and the people and the temple. And I wish to end by saying, in my world, it is all love. And what I wish for all of you is for Our Lady Nut, the Queen of the Stars, to wrap you in her wings of love. Duawend Hotepu.